Good afternoon, all of you, grade 5. Today we are going to study a new lesson, which is lesson 3. In this lesson, we are going to study more about how do scientists investigate. In order to understand this lesson, I have this PowerPoint, this wonderful PowerPoint for you. First, we should know our lesson is page 328, and our lesson is a combination of the last lesson, which is how do scientists or what do scientists do. So, what we are going to learn in this lesson, we will know different methods of investigation and the steps of scientific investigation. We will know how to ask well-defined questions for scientific investigation. So, first, what is the scientific method? A method is a way or a mean allow us to reach our target or purpose. For example, see this dialogue between two students. Student number 1, I read that scientists are investigating how to make electric cars travel even faster on one charge. That would be a great improvement. Have they published any results? This is the girl asking. One model, see the word model, it's a very important word. One model they tested costs $367. To recharge it costs about 2 cents per kilometer to drive. The girl says, can you help me find out how far that electric car can travel on one charge? See, here they are asking each other questions and they giving the answer. This is the first step of investigation, is to ask questions. So, what types of scientific investigation? Name 4 types of scientific investigation. Yes, experiments, exactly, models, and surveys, and also sampling. These are the main 4 types of investigation. We are going to study models and experiment. What is a model? Everything has a model. If we are building a new house, we create first a model for this house. If we are doing a new car, we create a model for the car. So what is a model? What is survey and sampling? What tools do scientists use to conduct a survey? Steps of investigation. Ask a question, state hypothesis, identify and control variables. We get control group, we give it a name as control group. Make a plan. What I intend to do, what I'm going to do. Test the hypothesis. Collect, record, and interpret data. State a conclusion and do repeated trials. We'll do it again because one trial may be not enough. We can do 2 trials or 3 or 4 as you want. Okay. Now we are going to see a video that show us how can scientists do their work. You can find this video also in your driver in your personrealize.com. So I'm going to share it with you now.
Hi everyone, I'm Mr. Cormier from Parker Elementary. Today we are going to see how scientists plan and conduct experiments to answer questions. It's important to know how to plan an investigation so you can conduct experiments that answer your questions. In this investigation, we are going to test the efficiency of different types of fertilizers on plant growth. We use fertilizers to help plants grow, but there are different types of fertilizers we can choose. One type of fertilizer is blue synthetic and often comes in granular form like this. This fertilizer is man-made from chemicals that usually appear in natural soil as well, but are designed for plants to absorb more quickly. Another type of fertilizer is this organic fertilizer made from raw materials like manure, peat moss, and plant compost. It can come in pellets or in granular form like this. This fertilizer is designed to be natural and harmless for plants. Our final type of fertilizer we will be testing is called peat moss, which is a type of organic fertilizer. It is a plant that is often used as fertilizer and, unlike the other two, is not made up of multiple materials. Our investigation will answer the question, which of these three fertilizers produces the most overall plant growth in a given time period? To plan our investigation, the first step is to identify the question, which we have already done. Next, we must think of experiments we can conduct to help us answer our question. For this investigation, we will need 3 potted plants beginning at the same stage of growth. We'll be testing one type of fertilizer in each plant to observe its growth. In our investigation, what is the thing we are testing? Fertilizer. We'll call the fertilizer our variable. A variable in an experiment is something that changes. For example, in this experiment, the fertilizer will be changing in each plant, so the fertilizer is the variable. Since we have only one variable in this experiment, everything else about the 3 plants needs to stay the same. Things that stay the same are called constants. What are some of the constants in this experiment? We already know that plants need water, light, and air to grow. For our experiment to work, water, light, and air must be the constants in our experiment. For example, what would happen if we kept these 2 plants over here and this one close to the window? Would this be a true test of the fertilizer? No, it would not, because the added light in this plant by the window may also have an effect on its growth. This would make it difficult for us to determine the actual effect of the fertilizer. In this video, we practiced planning an experiment that answers our question. We discussed how we needed a control that remained constant, and we identified a variable that changes so we can observe the results. You can test a variable too. With the permission of an adult, set a timer and see how far you can walk in 10 seconds. Then go back to your starting point and start again, this time changing the motion from walking to running. How far can you run in 10 seconds? Can you see how changing one variable can change your results? Until next time, I'll be seeing you.
Now going back to our book, how do scientists investigate? We have this little experiment that show us we have that. Which method keeps bread fresh? How bread be freshest? Which one make it freshest? If we have a slice of bread, how can we keep it? We have 4 methods or ways. One of them is leave it as it is, uncovered, or roll it by paper bag, or put it in a plastic bag, or put it inside a waxed paper. So in waxed paper, what has happened after 5 days? This is observation. Very dry, but still a little soft in the middle. In the plastic bag, a little drier, but still looks fresh. In the paper bag, almost completely hard and dry. Uncovered, completely hard and dry. So now we are speaking about the results we have. What results we have? What our results? We are going to interpret this data. Compare the freshness of bread slice after 5 days. The uncovered slice and the paper bag slice were harder, and this is what we don't want. How could you combine methods to keep bread fresh longer? I could wrap a slice in a waxed paper and then put it in a plastic bag. So I'm going to use 2 ways to keep it freshest, or keep the most way to be freshest. Okay. Moving to page number 2. Here we see what is experiment. Scientists do experiments, but we should know what does experiment mean. Experiment mean is the use of scientific method to test your hypothesis. Remember that. A hypothesis is a statement, so you should know what is experiment is and what is hypothesis is. A statement of what you think will happen in an investigation. So the question is, write a possible hypothesis that scientist is thinking about uh, or as he does his experiment. Are airbags in the car? Then it will be safer because the airbags will slow the passenger down in an accident. So in this page, we learned much about what is experiment, is the use of scientific method, what the procedures and steps, scientific steps that you are going to do. During that, you will think what is going to happen. The word what is going, the answer of the word what is going to happen, this question, it means hypothesis. Okay, so there is no single scientific method for finding answers. Biologists study living things with different methods. Okay, we cannot depend on one way to study, as we said in the last past lesson, but we depend on many ways, but they should be reliable. Okay, by this video, we come to the end of the session today. Till we meet again and goodbye.